All right. So I think it's time we change the conversation around education and jobs, right? Because as far as I've been alive, and I'm pretty sure it predates when I've been alive, the two things that we're always told is to get a job, get an education, or get an education and get a job, right? And that's great and all. And a lot of what's going on these days is a lot of people are trying to talk about how do we solve unemployment, um, how do we solve homelessness? How do we get people working? How do we solve poverty, right? And everyone's talking like, oh, we need to create jobs, which is correct. Don't get me wrong. We need to you get more people educated, which is again correct. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't get jobs. I'm not saying don't get education. I mean those things are correct, but there's a really glaring problem with that narrative that nobody that I'm aware of is talking about, and that is nobody that I'm aware of is talking about skills development. What do I mean by that? What is the difference between getting a job, getting an education, and getting skills? You see, a lot of people when they hear get a job, especially the young people, when they hear get a job, they think, go work at McDonald's, go work at a retail store, go be a clerk, go work at a grocery store and bag groceries, right? And that's great and all. That's if you're young, 100% go for those jobs. If you absolutely need a job, if you have no income right now, go and get those jobs. There's nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. There's nothing wrong with bagging groceries, right? Those are fine. Those are fine, noble jobs. We need people in those roles so that we can have a functioning society. But the thing is, a lot of people they stop there and they go, okay, great. Now I've got a job. Now I'm making minimum wage. Now my life sucks. Now what do I need to do? I can't buy a Mercedes Benz, right? And they're right. If you work at those jobs, if you stay at those jobs, you don't actually gain the skills necessary to get better. But then nobody's telling them what to do next, so a lot of people they're stuck. And human beings, we need someone to tell us what to do. All right, that's the reality. We always we need someone to push us and get us better. That's why giving people free money doesn't actually solve anything because you're not telling them what to do with that stuff. So that's the problem with telling people to just get a job. Now getting a job is just step one, but then people stop there, right? What's step two, three, four through 10? And then the other thing that people say is, hey, if you go to college, if you go to higher education, if you go to university, if you go to an Ivy League school, you develop skill, you get an education, and with that piece of paper, you can go get a job, right? Well, the problem is, the reality is, most of the jobs that are available in America do not require a degree. There are a lot of very high paying jobs that you can make six figures on that do not require a degree. If you go to college, you get an education, say in psychology, right? The problem is there aren't that many jobs in psychology that that are willing to hire you. And but because you've got this piece of paper that says you're trained in being a psychologist, you're out there looking for a job in psychology. And I don't know a single one of my friends that was in college that got their degree in psychology work in a job that requires them to use their psychology degree at all. No, they went and worked for um they went and worked for like doing regular jobs in sales. They ended up working in hospitality jobs. They ended up working at JetBlue as a flight stewardess. These are actual people that I know who ended up in those jobs. And none of that really requires a psychology degree. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to diss on psychology degrees, but anybody who's in that field will tell you, yeah, the jobs that are available in psychology are tremendously limited to the point where your only options are either go be a college professor and teach psychology to a bunch of other people uh, who are going to enter a job market where psychology degrees are not in demand, or open up a practice and and talk to people about their problems. And a lot of people don't really want to do that. They don't want to be therapists, which kind of shocks me because well, actually it doesn't, because listening to people's problems is very emotionally burdening, and not everybody can do it. It's a very emotionally tough job. Um, And no, getting a piece of paper doesn't make you emotionally tough, right? All it says is that you spent 4 years and $80,000 to go to get a piece of paper that says you know how to you know about different people's psychological profiles. That's great and all, but what does the job market demand of you? Well, most of the jobs out there, they're either service based jobs, things like construction, things like nursing, things like being a technician, a plumber, or their jobs in retail sales. So like you can go learn how to sell cars. There's nothing wrong with selling cars. You can make a very good living selling cars, and people need to buy cars. So you're fulfilling a need there, or you're selling you're doing door to door sales, and you're selling home treatments. You're selling you're selling gardening work. Most jobs are either or sales or service tech based jobs, and you don't need degrees for that. And if you do very well in those jobs, you can develop, you can secure yourself a very very good income. But the problem is, people aren't having these conversations about becoming plumbers, about becoming mechanics, about becoming sales. In fact, a lot of those things people look down upon. They're like, I don't want to do those jobs. I'm like, why wouldn't you want to do those jobs? Not only is the demand for them very, very high, the pay for that, if you get really good, is above six figures. I know some mechanics who drive some very nice cars, live in very nice houses, and who make about $10,000 a month because they're very, very good. Your car breaks down. What is your degree in sociology going to do for you if your car breaks down? No, you're going to stand there. You're going to be like, oh my God, I can't change a flat tire. Flat tire is just 5 nuts. You just take the nuts off, pull the tire off, put the other one back on, and under 5 minutes, you're back on the road. Yes, I can do that. So telling people to get an education, that's fine and all. That's weird. Telling people to get an education is fine and all. Telling people to go get a job is fine and all. But the most important thing that we need to be telling our people, our young people, our people who are just trying to figure out their way in the world, the thing we need to be telling them is to go out and develop skills. Learn how to operate a forklift. Learn how to operate a crane. Learn how to weld. Learn how to raise cattle. Learn how to negotiate. Learn how to close sales. Learn the art of persuasion. Learn how to communicate. Learn how to write. Learn how to code. There are so many things that people can learn. Are you good at data? Are you good at understanding numbers? Great. Learn how to use a spreadsheet, because there's a small company out there looking for someone who's very good at spreadsheets to build them some spreadsheets so that they can understand their own accounting numbers. Are you good with design? Great. Learn how to use Adobe Creative Suite. Learn how to use AI tools to create images and manipulate them. Learn how to make logos, because there is no shortage of companies around the world looking for people to create logos for them, to create marketing material for them, to create advertisements for them, to create visual representations for them, to run marketing campaigns for them. There is no shortage of that. Okay, you like working with people? Great. Learn nursing. Learn how to take care of people. Learn how to administer needles safely so that you can help people get their medications. Being traveling nurse. Traveling nurses get paid a lot of money. I have a buddy every 4 months. If you like traveling, every 4 months, my buddy travels to a different city that's paid for by the hospital. They pay for his housing. They gave him a car. They gave him $50,000 for 4 months of work, and then he goes to a new hospital, and then he goes to a new hospital. He does and he specializes in prenatal care, taking care of babies. He loves babies. I've seen this big, gigantic, 250-pound strong man hold a tiny baby in his hands, and that baby cries in everyone else's arms, but inside his arms, that baby is calm. I can't do that. Every baby I hold cries. I don't know what it is about me, but he can take a baby and make magic happen. Those babies absolutely love him. performance athletics? Great. Become a fitness coach. Now, one thing I hear a lot is because I'm in the martial arts industry, right? Well, I train 6 days a week, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai. Everybody knows that about me. And I hear all the time, oh, there's no money in fighting. You can't make money as a fighter. You can't, only the top 1% make it to the UFC. Only the top 1% of boxers gets paid. Correct. You're right in that. But do you know who also gets paid in the martial arts world? Coaches, gym owners, trainers. If you become a very good martial artist, there is no shortage of people across all 8 billion people on this planet that want to learn how to fight better. And if you know how to make people fight better, you're going to find work. I have friends who are full-time coaches, full-time martial arts coaches. That's all they do. Now, are they balling out of control? No. But are they making money? Yes. Are they getting better? Yes. And the ones that know how to get clients, they're raising families. One of my best friends opened up his own gym. Trains people all day long. That's all he does. Wakes up, works out, trains people, goes home, takes a nap, trains people some more, does some private one-on-one lessons, collects all that money. After what does he pay himself from his gym? $85,000. Is that six figures? No. But is $85,000 a shortage of money? No. You can raise a family on $85,000 as a martial arts coach. Are you going to be balling out of control by buying Lamborghinis and Bugattis? No. Are you going to be buying diamond rings? No. Are you going to have a good time developing skills and sharing your passion with people and making people's lives better? 100% yes. So stop telling people, well, yeah, okay. Yes, tell people to go to college. Tell people to go get jobs. But the very next conversation that needs to happen after that is develop skills. Don't know what you want to do? Great. Go hang out on a construction site. Learn how to use a jackhammer. Learn plumbing. Because at the end of the day, the world only cares about one thing. It doesn't care about what you know. It doesn't care that you woke up this morning and you drove through 2 hours of traffic to arrive at a job that you hate. The world doesn't care about that. The world only cares about one thing. What can you do for the world? And if you have no skills, the world is a very cruel, mean, and nasty place. Don't ask me about that. Everybody knows that. This world is not a nice place. The world is very, very tough. And the only way that you're going to make it through life is if you have the skills to get through life. Can you communicate? Can you speak? Can you articulate? Can you develop the skills and find the people who are willing to pay you those skills?